Welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about blend modes, and blend modes are located in the Layers panel. If you pull down the menu, you'll see all of the blend modes here. We have PS Basics Layers Blending open and PS Basics Blending 2 open. So basically, how does this work? Well, you'll see this black border separating these areas. The first part here are the darken modes, and this is where white is neutral. So in other words, white is ignored. Multiply is the most popular of this mode. The second part here is the lighten modes. This is where black is ignored and screen is the most popular. These are your contrast modes. Basically, gray is ignored and black is increased and white is increased. These are your invert colors here, where black is usually neutral. And these are components of color. Okay, so let's go ahead and choose one. So let's apply multiply and see what happens. Now multiply did as it said, it ignored the white area, as you can see here. Let me turn off T. But the black was darkened more. Now it may be blackened too much, but guess what? This is where opacity comes in, and I can just reduce the opacity to taste. Okay. Let's choose the second mode. These are the lighten modes where black is neutral. So remember the black here on the top part? This is considered the blend color. This is the base color, and the result is what you see. And the screen says, let me ignore the black, which is up here, and let me brighten or lighten, I won't say brighten, but lighten the bottom area where white is. Of course, you can reduce the opacity to blend to taste. The next set of modes are your contrast modes. Overlay, soft light are your popular ones. This will ignore gray. As you can see, gray here is the middle area. The white is whiter and the black is blacker. And we can reduce the opacity to taste here. Nice. Let's try soft light, see what it does. And it's a little bit softer. Yeah, I don't like soft light in this photo only. Next one I'm going to show you here, these are the invert modes, but I'm going to show you something interesting, is the difference mode. Okay, well, this is where black is neutral and everything else is inverted basically. But it does something else. I'm going to click on background layer. I'm going to press Control J to duplicate the background copy. I'm going to turn off this white gray layer. I'm going to select the move tool by pressing V. Excuse me. Now, difference, let me change it to difference mode, sorry. Change it to difference mode. And you'll see here that everything is black. Why? Because there's no difference in the pixels. When there's no difference in the pixels, black is used. It's a great for lining up things on two layers. Watch what happens when I move it one pixel. You see now these pixels aren't lined up, and now you see what happens. Whoops. Excuse me, there we go. Now, let me press the move tool once. As you can see here, black is what's still aligned, and you're starting to see things where that's not aligned. And now I have 2 to the left, 3, 4. So you can see you can create neat effects even with just the difference mode. Okay, and if I move up, there you go. You can try all different effects. Okay, so let me delete this layer. Yes. Turn on this layer. And the last set are components of color basically. Hue is the name of the color. Decrease hue and it gets a little scary. It applies, you know, this gray, black, and white to this base layer. You get this nice result. Looks a little scary. Reduces some more and you bring back color. Saturation is how saturated a color is. Color is, I believe, the hue plus saturation, basically. And luminosity is basically the brightness. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to right click and delete this layer and show you something else you can do with blend modes. We're going to select PS Basics Layer Blending 2, and you have this crazy picture of bushes blowing. I'm going to press the move tool, which it is selected. I'm going to drag it to the tab here, which is going to open up this image. I'm still holding my mouse. I'm going to press shift so it centers it. Okay. Now we have two images. We have layer 1. We can rename it. We'll double click and call it bush if you want. Enter. And we have our background image. Now watch what happens when I use blend modes. We're going to try multiply. Nah, that's nice. Let's reduce the opacity, see what happens. Let's try screen. Screen's a little bit better. Let's try one of those contrast modes. Okay, overlay's nice. Let's reduce the opacity a little. Okay, and now let's add a mask to the brush layer. Let's select the brush tool over here and paint with black. In the middle, I'm gonna have a nice large brush. Okay, I'm gonna have a nice large brush. Now watch what happens when I paint. It will take away some of this texture. We call it distressing an image, and we can just leave it. Yeah, let's see. So I can focus just at here, 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 and then I can increase. There we go. Nice. Okay, let me get rid of it here. Okay, so this is where we can see. Let me press. Okay, let me press Shift, and you can see when I turn off the mask, you can see how this is blended and overlay. I turn on the mask, and you can see where I've hidden part of that and left the texture here to blend it with the image nice. So it makes an image pop a little bit more.